Think a bagger like the 2016 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse is a boat? You'd think differently if you saw a pair of them parked side by side on the deck of the USS Iowa, like we did at the press intro. At a claimed 803 pounds dry and more than 8 feet in length, the Chieftain Dark Horse is big by motorcycle standards. Yet the Iowa weighs 58,000 tons, that's 116 million pounds, and measures 888 feet long. In fact, a single round from one of the Battleship's 16-inch guns weighs 3 times more than the motorcycle and can destroy a target 23 miles away. Why were we on the Iowa anyway? Aside from the facts that Indian's external relations manager Robert Pandya prides himself on hosting unique press intros and parent company Polaris CEO Scott Wine is an ex-Navy officer, Indian motorcycles are manufactured in Spirit Lake, Iowa. So there's at least a tenuous connection. Like the Chief Dark Horse, the Chieftain Dark Horse is a blacked-out, solo-seat version of the model on which it is based. It's designed to be the most customizable machine in Indian's lineup, with roughly half of the 300 parts in the company's accessory catalog said to fit it. As with most high-end motorcycles nowadays, the CDH is not short on bells and whistles. It comes with a handlebar-mounted, do we dare call it a batwing? Fairing that does a fine job of protecting the rider's torso, if not his legs. The cut-down, tinted windshield is electrically adjustable, rising from 9 to 12 inches in height via a switch on the illuminated left handlebar cluster. A Bluetooth and smartphone-compatible 100-watt stereo system with its speakers housed in the fairing is controlled by that same cluster and a readout on the multifunction dash display. That central display is flanked by the speedo and take, the latter incorporating a fuel gauge. To the left of those is a 12-volt accessory outlet, while to the right is a switch to turn on the twin running lights outboard of the headlight. The Indian head on the classic skirted front fender also illuminates, while the front turn signals are LED arrays. Cruise control comes standard, actuated by switches on the right bar cluster. The ignition system is keyless and includes a fob that must be within 15 feet of the bike for the tank top power button to work. Misplace the fob and you can start the motor using a 4-digit PIN that is set up at time of purchase, but if you lock the steering, you're screwed. Midway down the tank are 2 switches. The right one is for locking/unlocking the standard top-loading saddlebags, which can also be done using the fob, while the left one is a placeholder for the pre-wired accessory heated hand grips. Speaking of placeholders, the left side gas cap is a dummy. You fill the tank via its counterpart on the right. It's worth noting that the saddlebags are easily removed by unplugging the electric lock cables and flipping up a pair of levers inside. Doing so reveals 2 billet aluminum bag mounts per side, which are far less unsightly than most. Should you want to carry a passenger, the Chieftain's seat and pegs also fit the Dark Horse. An available auxiliary 100-watt audio system with its speakers housed in the saddlebag lids lets your passenger hear the music as well as you. But enough about the details. How does the Chieftain Dark Horse work? After rendezvousing at the port of Los Angeles, we went for a lap around the nearby Palos Verdes Peninsula before being sent home with a test bike. And in the ensuing days we have come to the conclusion that this is one very fine motorcycle. First things first, and the Indian's air/oil cooled, Thunderstroke 111 engine is a tractor. With a claimed 119 pound and 20 pence-feet of torque at 3,000 RPM, it doesn't much care which of its 6 gears the transmission is in. Lug it down to a near standstill in third, then whack open the throttle and the big V-twin just smoothly accelerates. And smooth is the operative word, because while there's plenty of throbbing, there's very little vibration. The cable-actuated clutch has a relatively light pull, and the gearbox shifts positively, to the point that you can feel it click through neutral on the first to second shift. Owing to the forward foot controls there is no heel/toe shifter, which is unusual for a cruiser with floorboards, and you do have to raise your right boot pretty high to actuate the rear brake pedal. Those brakes work very well, by the way, and are equipped with ABS but are not linked. The seating position is typical for a beggar, with a low, 26-inch high saddle resulting in a short reach to the floorboards and the ground. Long-legged riders will find their knees up by the top edge of the gas tank, but the handlebars don't hit them as on some other cruisers. Our only comfort-related complaint had to do with excessive engine heat roiling the back of our upper thighs. Would that be a rump roast? Otherwise, the only thing we can complain about is the fuel range function, which tells you exactly how many miles you can go before running out right up until it warns low fuel, at which point you're left guessing. In a word, the Chieftain Dark Horse's chassis is solid. It feels very much of one piece, and the suspension is nicely calibrated for a cruiser. The rear shock is air adjustable via the included hand pump and a Schrader valve located behind the left CD cover, a sticker on the back of which gives recommended settings from 0-145 psi. While there's no arguing the CDH is big and heavy, its heft seemingly disappears in motion, and it has generous cornering clearance by cruiser standards. The Chieftain Dark Horse exudes quality, and as a result poses the most serious threat yet to Harley-Davidson's domination of the custom bagger market. Not only is it a hit, it's a direct hit. You can almost hear the folks in Milwaukee exclaiming, "You sunk my battleship."